Well, here's Glenn Davis, the host of Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5 and the foremost soccer expert in Houston.
Well, listen, I think, as I said before the tournament, the only thing that could beat the U.S. women was the U.S. women themselves. Plowed through all the top competition in Europe, knocked off England in the semis to get to the final. I think it's a magnificent tournament from the playing side, from the U.S., the depth, the power. But I think one of the little secrets of this tournament is the crystallization of the world game and how improved we have seen teams from around the world. The Italys, the Spains, the Englands, these teams have grown exponentially. And this is one of the great stories of the World Cup, because the fact is the United States has led the way in women's team sports globally. They have led the way in women's soccer globally. So this is kind of the crystallization of all this work and seriousness taken with the women's game that has broken down prejudice and bias in other countries around the world to where we have seen some of these teams playing magnificent soccer. Yeah, I think it's a little bit unfair because, look, the Men's World Cup's been going on since the 30s. Degree of difficulty, I'm not saying it isn't difficult for the women, because it's getting difficult and even more difficult. This was a grind, this tournament, to get through, and the fact that they stayed at this level throughout it is pretty remarkable. I'm tired a little bit of the whole men's and women's comparisons. I know you need to do that for fair pay and all that, but it is a little bit different, and the fact is the women are dominating the women's game, and they've done it from the start, and they're still doing it to this day. I'm not sure I'm the guy who knows how to answer that. What I can say is only this. At what point as a country are we going to develop more technical soccer players, more game changers? In other words, we go into the game against Mexico, and it's pretty much Christian Pulisic, right? He's easily targeted by Mexico. I think there have been great strides, academies, lots of things are going on that are moving the game forward. Sometimes it's a little homogenized to me. But I'm excited about this version of the men's national team. I love Pulisic, I love Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams. These are all guys that are 20 years of age, playing on top teams in Europe. We've never had that before. So I'm looking at them and I'm saying, okay, in 2 or 3 years, where are they going to be? Their development's going to accelerate. And that's not to mention a bunch of under 20s. So we're in a society that wants instant results. I'm not sure we're in the category of the Brazils and the Netherlands. For those who think we are, you're absolutely crazy. But for right now, I think you have to give this manager a chance and some of these young guys an opportunity since the failure of qualifying for Russia. I think they're going to qualify for the next World Cup. I still think it's in a sort of an embryonic stage here as to what the team's going to look like, how its playing style will evolve. But I just think with the players that are getting the experiences they're getting in Europe. I mean, Christian Pulisic's been in Europe since he's 16 years of age. That accelerates somebody's development. So I think in time it's all going to begin to come together better. We're going to win back and capture minds and hearts again. So you got to remember there was only 11 or 12 teams. That was a great team. That was a team full of guys that were also very much out in the public, and that was a real key. Those guys, I'm smiling now because I'm thinking about a lot of those players, but they all made themselves incredibly accessible. It was accessible at Robertson Stadium. There was an intimacy there on and off the field that I think has been lost in the move over to BBVA Compass Stadium. I hope that can be reclaimed. But I think in this sport, in this country, your players have to be accessible. I think that goes to the NWSL as well in the Women's League. You have to be accessible. You have to touch as many soccer players as possible. You got to be out there, and that's got to be part of the job description, frankly. It should be a sellout. Honestly, I think the stadium should be filled all the time. I think there's mechanisms you could pull off to engage and encourage that. It does take extending the olive branch. It does take a lot of human investment and financial investment, which, it's easy for me to say spending somebody else's money, but you do have to make the investment. You do have to extend the olive branch. I don't think soccer in this country, you can just say, hey, we're here, come and see us. It's not going to happen.